the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How you doing? Manchester United won a game. 3-0, clean sheet against Brentford, the Bees. Beating them up. Don't mind it, sir. The basically pseudo-Danish team. Long balls. Sex masochism.
And only in sex masochism. Then it is allowed.
That's what this season's been. Just a series of sex masochism. But today was a refrain from that. It was a, dare I say, good performance from the lads. Dare I say, defensively astute. But either way, Cristiano Ronaldo rolling back the years looking like 23-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo with plenty of gas still in the tank. Not to mention Matic, legacy tribute tour on the way out, looking pretty good in their last game at Old Trafford. Both of them putting in a shift. Bruno using the handrail a little bit, not as wild, looking like his vintage self, sir. I enjoyed the game today. I enjoyed watching parts of Manchester United. Is something wrong?
We played at home. We got a clean sheet. We scored 3 goals. Got a penalty.
Could have scored more.
Ronaldo stepped up, buried it. I was trying to hit the C on the soundboard. I fat-fingered into the LVG long ball, sir. I apologize.
We ran with it.
We do it live here at the American Red Devils. Look, we've been needing it. This team's been here all along. I think we found it a little too late. You knew we couldn't be playing this bad. Like, I would hope you'd see some life out of these players, and Rangnick finally found the right combination. Just a little too late. I feel Varane, Lindelof at the back, they're starting to get some chemistry. They couldn't come out right away and play good together. Varane's getting up to fitness. I think the defense looked better today. I thought Matic, McTominay looked better. And then obviously you put a little Mata in there. He added balance to the side. If you look at his pass map, where he was, where Bruno was, it was much more balanced versus just having Bruno do all the work. Matic, McTominay kind of getting stuck. I thought having that Mata option, he can come back, collect the ball, just added a little more balance to the side. I don't think Mata solved all the problems. I just think you have more players that can sort of handle the ball in the middle of the park, calm it down a little bit. Worked out against Brentford. Now, the first 10 minutes, Brentford coming in hot, and we looked like we were on the roast. We found the groove. We're able to get through and rely on, the Portuguese Magnifico and obviously the greatest of all time in Cristiano Ronaldo.
These are all players that hopefully will feature very strongly for United. All the goal scorers, right? Ronaldo, Bruno, Varane. These are players that you build the team around going forward. You would think Eric has all of these players identified. Any one of those three would be captain material. And it was nice to see something about bringing Mata in, balanced out the holding midfielders and McTominay and Matic, and balanced out Bruno and Ronaldo. And they just seemed to it linked it all together. Like you said, it didn't solve all the problems, but the football looked like they were more comfortable playing it. We had better control. We were tighter in possession. And I know it's only Brentford, but for how trying this season has been for Manchester United fans, hey, like you said, a little too late. Because really, it's like these are bold moves. No Rashford benched, nowhere to be seen. Obviously, Harry benched because of injury, but arguably this is the best center back pairing we have of the team at the moment. And then played Matic and Mata, who are both 33, 34, and leaving. Obviously, Fred wasn't available, but like you said, Rangnick is finally getting things together, and it's his last 2 games in charge coming up.
Yeah, and that begs a lot of questions where why didn't Rangnick change it up earlier? Why did it take so long for Mata to get involved? Again, I'm not saying Mata's the solution, but I feel like Matic could get 30 minutes every other week, and that was it. Now you put him with McTominay and twice a week, and we look good. I mean, think about the turnaround we just had over this past weekend, and then we played this well coming out of it. I really do think there was some rigidity in the rotation, and it existed under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We have a lot of players. Why aren't all these players on the bench getting playing time? I feel like when you're playing as bad as we have been this season, you got to be playing everyone. It's like next man up, next man up. United's always been that way. You don't play well, it's next man up. And I felt like there was a lot of bad players hanging around and getting reps, like Maguire being one of them, probably the biggest one, as well as Rashford. And even Lingard lately, we've been seeing him getting a lot of playing time and not really shining. So what does Mata got to do? Why do we extend his contract in the first place? to get a shout here. And finally, we found a combination that sparks some life. And now whether that's going to matter in these next 2 games, it looks like we're probably going to be getting Europa League versus conference, but too little too late. You like to see us maybe draw Leicester, recognize it isn't the right performance, and then switch into something like this and find that mojo, because it looks like we found it. But again, Champions League not there.
No, you look at the team today and the players that featured so prominently, they were calling out, other than kind of the goal scorers who, big name players who aren't going anywhere, but like Mata and Matic doing such a workman rate, playing really well, players that arguably shouldn't be there, but both are positions that need to be filled next season by other players, right? Like, we need to bring in someone in a CDM position that can pass the ball and move and position himself like the Nemanja Matic can, because obviously he doesn't have the legs anymore, but he's a true player, still class, right? Has some great passes over the top today. Same against Chelsea. And like you said, he couldn't get a sniff at it for the first 3-4 months under Ralphie. And now, mainly out of injuries, Fred not being available, Pogba, see ya, slow jogging his way out of the club. Matic has featured and looked class. So he's leaving. He's going to meet up with Mourinho down in Roma, sir. So we need to find the next CDM holding midfielder of his mold, because holy crap, United needs someone like that.
And you know what's really funny is, when did you think we really turned it around? What was the first game you saw where we were like, okay, we played well. We might not have won. What was the game that you saw?
Arsenal.
And guess who played in the midfield? Matic, McTominay, and Varane and Lindelof at the back.
They've been that game, we got hard done, right? Like,
we didn't win, but there was some good football there. We had Ronaldo at 9, Elanga, Fernandez. We had Sancho then as well.
Some howler calls.
Now you look and you say, okay, De Gea's playing well. Telles, Delo, they're all a little liability, but like that spine, there's something there, right? If you're the director of football, you're looking at this team and you're seeing like there's a look. That's why there's some positives to take away. It's not done. You obviously got to replace Matic, like you said. But you can sort of see this team has some backbone. They started playing well, and as a fan, you got to take the positive away, and that was a big positive today against Brentford. Plus, Cristiano Ronaldo, what a player. Manchester United legend. Like I said, saint. He should get sainthood. Unbelievable. Crying, clapping the fans off. Is he staying? Is he going? He said he wasn't done. Does that mean he's not done with football? Does that mean he's not done with Manchester United, sir? As a Ronaldo fan, I'm freaking out. What does it mean? Ronaldo, don't leave me.
I know he's definitely not done with football, because you see that guy. He probably has another 10 years playing football, because he's gonna go to the MLS and chill in LA or Miami and just be bagging them in. He'll be scoring 40-50 goals a season. But all I care about, I hope he comes and stays with United next year. I hope Eric, Ten Hag, a lot of players in this team are not good enough, but he certainly is. He's a role model for a lot of the players that they're looking to bring in, whoever they may be. They could certainly look up to Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of mentality, temperament, discipline, work ethic. He's an unbelievable. I can't say it enough. I was unsure when he came in, but like, what a legend. He is an unbelievable player and just an unbelievable role model for this team of, like outcasts, and like some of them aren't even fit to wear the kit. So when we do have a bit of a reshuffle and Eric is allowed to come in and kind of like put his print on things, it would be really helpful to have Ronaldo around to kind of be tip of the spear.
There is a feeling about this team that I just talked about that Ronaldo is the leader, right? Since we started playing at Arsenal, Ronaldo has really come into form. He's been really urging the lads on. He's been the tip of the spear despite the recent tragedy in his life. And he has been like what looks to be the captain of Manchester United and should be next year under Erik ten Hag. I know there's going to be tons of rumors, clickbait, etc. Ronaldo, I know you listen to the pod. You got to stay. You got to stay. All right, quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, we are for fans, by fans. No better way to support the podcast than joining our Discord channel. There's tons of Muppets, 650 Muppets in our Discord channel. Chat is absolute fire on match days. Please check it out. It's on our website. You can click the link. You jump right into the chat, as well as on Twitter, pinned on our profile. Join the channel, meet other American Red Devils Muppets. It is amazing. Also, the best way to support us is Patreon. We don't have any ads on this podcast. We don't hawk anything you've heard on every single pod. I hate ads on podcasts. Does not fly. Plus, we have trouble reading and talking generally. So ad reads would probably be difficult for this crew from North Jersey. So the way we want to go, direct fan support. You want to support us, please check it out, www.patreon.com/America Red Devils. We just recorded our behind-the-scenes Patreon episode for April. We do one every month, and we give away a bunch of cool merch. There's 4 tiers. Please check it out. Also, check out our website, www.americareddevils.com. Great fan-generated blog content. That is what the platform is for. Also, we have a great store there. Scarves, stickers, pins, shirts, americareddevils.com. Click on store. Alex, tell them about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews are still going hot and heavy, and wherever you listen to the America Red Devils, whether it be in iTunes or Spotify or the like, sending in a 5-star review of the pod. It's a great way to support us, and even better, we are sending out free merch anywhere in the globe. If you write a review and send a screenshot to americareddevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free America Red Devil gear straight to your door. Just like this review we got coming out from J Vote. 5 stars, green and gold till the club is sold. Best Manchester United news either side of the pond. Up front, biased fan take for biased fans. The only good thing to come out of Jersey besides Bruce Springsteen. How dare you? My only problem is that I cannot tell if they support the Glazers. Ha ha ha. Great podcast, great chemistry. Always great to share the misery of the season with the America Red Devil community. Appreciate you, J Vote. Appreciate all the America Red Devils who write ridiculous reviews. Support the pod. Honestly, we couldn't do it without you. Been the bright spot of this season, sir. Join the Discord. It is a joy. It is so much fun.
I would say, by the way, Alex, amazing.
How'd I do?
Amazing review read. Like you improved greatly from last
slow
time.
it down.
You improved greatly from last time. You took the breaths in between the sentences, added a nice touch there. But Jay, amazing review. You missed out on Bon Jovi. Living on a prayer.
There's other people too.
I'm not going to sing it, but it's like the New Jersey state anthem. In order to be a citizen, you got to know all the words. Let's get into it. Manchester United 3, Brentford 0 at Old Trafford. Last home game of the season. Oh, I'm nervous about that. Ronaldo clapping the fans and crying. Don't cry, Ronaldo. Don't cry because you're coming back.
It was worrisome.
All right, let's get into it. Dave saves role number 1 in net. Tellis at left back. Lindelof Varane center back pairing. Delo at right back. McTominay, Matic midfield. Bruno in the hole. Alonga on the left. Ronaldo up top. Mata on the right. Bold move from Ralph Rangnick with Mata. I thought this could have been a 4-2-2-2. Bringing Mata in. Mata was all over the place on the pitch. Did very well. Obviously, he's not going to be a traditional right winger creating that space or that width. But I did think he alleviated a lot of the pressure in the midfield. What'd you make of the lineup, Alex?
I mean, the big kind of change up from Ralphie is got to be Mata, obviously. Rashford, he's the man on the outs, working on other things, it seems. But stability in that back four. I think Lindelof, Varane have looked solid. They look solid today. McTominay and Matic. I think, like you said, something about having Mata kind of leaving the pressure, and also him and Bruno just floating all over the pitch. I also thought Bruno played really well today. He wasn't as reckless with the ball and giving it away as quickly. He seemed to be taking a little bit more time on it, which is often where you see the best result. But I like this 11, and I thought when they came out, other than a first little skittish mark, which is normal from this crap side, they actually played some decent football.
First half, third minute, nice ball from Delo to Cristiano Ronaldo over the top. He can't quite connect, but it looked like Chelsea all over again. I thought he was going to get this one. Ronaldo, amazing player. Brentford, you got to give credit. They came out hot. They're all over us. It looked shaky. Looked like here we go again from a United fan. But look, it was an open game. It was exciting. And in the 9th minute,
played particularly well.
Off goes Alanga. Got the drop on Sorensen here. And what a good goal from Bruno Fernandes. That's 50. And he's marked it in the grand manner made by Alanga. And absolutely banged home by Bruno Fernandes. 1-0 Manchester United in the 9th minute.
Yeah, it's a brilliant goal by Manchester United. And we wondered about Bruno Fernandes playing on that left-hand side, Alanga off this right-hand side, and you just see there what they can do. Question mark whether he may have strayed a yard offside. VAR will look at that, but once he gets in there, it's brilliant. The spin is quality. Just trust that the ball will be fed in there. It's a beautiful ball, and then can he pick someone out? Is anybody arriving? For once, Cristiano Ronaldo isn't there. Well,
I mean, what a ball. I like the pass before the pass, the hockey assist, Alanga, Bruno reading it right. What a finish. What a goal. This is Manchester United football, baby.
I don't even know what side I was watching, sir. Delo had some howler of the balls over the top today in terms of just like boys in the box, but this one was a solid one. Alanga on his bike, getting a nice ball in. Bruno with a nice movement, and he's had a tough season. And he hasn't been his best, and we know it, but he is a solid player, a player to build around, and nice goal from him, and also nice captain gesture going over to the youngster to like give him the ups first and foremost, because that goal doesn't happen without Anthony Alanga. So good United goal. I was starting to get excited, sir, thinking like, come on, let's blow the doors off this one.
If you're going to have a bad season, as Bruno Fernandes, it's probably good to do it this year when Harry Maguire and Rashford are having worse.
It's true.
It's true. A team in a rough year, it's not a bad season to pick because no one's going to be really picking him out. 18th minute, Alanga dragged down after Brentford lose the ball. Nothing. Again, something we're going to see in the league is even like the premier referees like Clattenburg, et cetera, they retired a long time ago. And then all of a sudden these like horrible refs, like John Moss.
Guy today is terrible. He was awful.
Horrific.
And
Mike Dean. So the John Mosses and Mike Dean, who are like the known names now, they're going to retire, and then you're going to be stuck with these guys, and then even the B team from Australia or wherever in the VAR booth, they got a serious referee problem in the EPL right now. The talent is going to be horrible. This is a little flag to that. 22nd minute, Tony blasts the ball just over from a header. Decent chance. Brentford wasn't out of it at 1-0. This is where the game kind of got a little squirrely for United. We try to slow it down, but we really don't know how to slow it down. The only way we know how to slow it down is kind of just pass it negatively and then lose the ball and give a break to Brentford. So we're kind of we don't know how to play when we're trying to sort of just kill the game a little bit for certain periods. I thought that was very noticeable today. 26th minute, Ronaldo pulled down in the box, clear pen. This is a 50-50. Arsenal would have got it if it was against us.
They would have. So
and there was Australian ref in the bus, in the VAR bus there. 32nd minute, Mata goes just wide. Amazing 1-2 with Ronaldo. Ronaldo's pulling off some insane flicks today. Put some respect on that man's name. I feel like he's just starting to grow into the legend of Ronaldo. Just undoubtable. People were like hating on him earlier in the season, and now he's just like really flexing on people with these flicks.
Hate us because they ain't us. There's always a lot of criticism of United. Biggest club in the world is always going to get the most people kind of throwing stones at him. But I think as this team has kind of shown a little bit of promise, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. The team played okay today. Ronaldo is like truly able to shine, right? He was playing 1-2 football with Mata, with Bruno, with Delo at times, and it just looked like he was feeling it.
44th minute, speaking of feeling it, he scores. Great goal.
Great goal.
Overturned because it's offsides. I mean, this was brutal.
So close. It was so close.
They got to extend the line to be like a foot.
Didn't they?
Well, like it's kind of like the
foot. Didn't they do it like at the beginning of the season? If it was like just there, they give like the tie goes to the runner. Like,
no, but it's like in hockey. I don't know how many hockey fans will go listen to the pod, but they make the blue line wider. So essentially offsides. There's a greater margin for offsides. Right, yeah. So the thicker the line, the more forgiveness in offsides. So they could make the line like half a yard.
Big marker line, yeah.
Like why not?
I agree.
Because like people wouldn't like the goals we've seen disallowed
insane
by like a toe. Nobody is like pumped for that. Like honestly, like you want to see more goals. VAR should be not taking away goals. So it's like the margin for offsides should just be extended, and then that way, people can understand that. It's
consistent. As long as it's consistent, I'm all for it, because I think what you saw today.
Tie goes to the goal scorer. 2 Ronaldo goals would have got in. It'd been more exciting. These games, I just hate to see VAR take it away for very like a margin that you can't understand, and then the camera angles don't make any sense either.
It's true.
It's not good luck. It's not a good look. You want to see goals. Second half, 50th minute, Delo comes out, hits the crossbar after some nice interchange with CR7. He was offsides. I feel like Delo does deserve a goal going forward, but just hasn't been able to get it. Ronaldo, again, he's offsides quite a bit, but can't slate him. 53rd minute, Bruno goes just wide after Matic finds it with a nice pass over the top. 55th, Dave saves from Eriksson free kick, but that was called offsides. 57th, kick save and a beaut from De Gea. He's still got it. But 61st minute, sir, the penalty to CR7. What a player. He finally gets it.
For Ronaldo. Henry is quick but not as strong as Cristiano Ronaldo. And there's a tangle. Penalty. He's got this one. He fought hard to win the ball and give himself the position where he could be fouled.
He just realised he'd outmuscled Henry in this situation. It's a great run. Uses that strength, pulls him off the ball, and then just checks his shoulder, sees him coming.
Here goes Cristiano Ronaldo and drills it home. It's 2-0. Well, he had one disallowed right on half-time. He's got one here, a penalty that he's earned and converted.
Clinical from Cristiano Ronaldo. We've come to expect it so often. Whether it be with his head, his left foot, his right foot, from the penalty spot. He's just got that air of confidence around him in front of goal. And we see it yet again. No doubt that this ball was going to end up in the back of the goal.
I'll tell you what.
The composure.
Celebrating in front of the Stretford end, scoring a penalty in the second half. Cristiano Ronaldo, Manchester United legend. What a player. What it means to him. Shouldering the youngster off the ball, winning the penalty and smashing it home. He loves this club. He loves this game. Cristiano Ronaldo, what a player.
How much fun is he to watch? He's just been one of the few bright spots of this season. It's been a really, really challenging season on a lot of different marks for this club, for the fans, and he has just been the shining beacon that I hope will continue to burn and shine so brightly into next season because, dude, he makes everybody else better around him. There are so many players that aren't going to make it at this team because they lack his discipline, his mentality. Obviously, he's world-class, like one of the greatest of all times, and few players will ever have that. But there are so many players that just like could look up to him and be like, I could learn so much from him, and they're not going to do it, and they're going to be thrown out the door, sir, which is what they deserve. But I just hope we get a chance to show Ronaldo another year of love, with us included, at a game or two, and also have more of the players that are going to come in as part of Eric's rebuild get to play under one of the greatest of all times.
70th minute sub, Fred for Matic, saying goodbye to Nemanja Matic, Old Trafford, standing ovation. I mean, you got to give it up for Matic. Came into United, he looked great, and what a way to finish his United career than, playing in a midfield too, looking like a bright spot in a dark season for Manchester United. Speaking of bright spots, Champions League, Varane, 72nd minute.
Trying to get free. Oh, and it's hooked in for a first Manchester United goal by Rafa Varane. So lots of smiles here tonight. They've been in a scarce commodity over the last few months.
Oh, it's quite a straightforward goal. Rafa Varane just gets in the right position, holds Rico Henry off the ball.
I couldn't do that.
Score from a corner, I'll tell you. That's what
foot.
Varane can do. And great to see him healthy for Manchester United and get a summer off because we're going to need you to play every single game next season. As far as the way everything's going now, 73rd minute, the Glazers out, protest fans leaving the stadium. The 1958 coordinating the march to the stadium, and then obviously staging the leaving the match in the 73rd minute. It was covered again on NBC Sports Network. Shout out to them for covering the protest and mentioning it. My own view on it, it's hard to get fans to leave a game.
Especially when they're playing well. That hasn't been very often this season.
No, through the history of United, if you read the Manchester United biography, the protest of matches has been attempted ever since early 1900s of bad owners, etc. And it's hard to do. Like getting fans not to go to games or getting fans to leave games is very difficult. I think the financial boycott of like mega store sponsors, I think that's probably more practical, but my opinion. We're in touch with 1958. I made suggestions to that end because I as a glazer out guy, I just don't think it was like that evident that it occurred.
They're talking about it. I think it's more apparent when they're protesting outside of every game and going down the tunnel
exactly
with the flares. I mean, that gets on TV. But like I said, I don't think they're watching TV. I don't think they're watching Sky Sports. I don't think they're watching. No, I know they're not watching these games. So I do agree. I think it's a combo. Like that is, people would talk about that, but at the end of the day, these people are driven solely by their money, the amount of money that comes in their pocketbooks. So you hit that will get through to them.
Green and gold to the club is sold. 74th minute, double sub. Cavani and Jones for Elanga and Mata. Cavani still plays for Manchester United. Just kidding. 83rd minute, Jones misses a tap in from a corner because he's Philly Jones. Philly cheesesteak Jones missing the tap in. Look, 3-0. United beat Brentford. Stats, United 9 shots to Brentford's 12. 5 on target compared to their 4. But we had 65% of the ball. Dominated at home. 710 passes to 360 for Brentford. 90% pass accuracy.
It's been a while.
This is a decent Brentford side. We talked about their form coming in this game, and we made it look easy. Where was this against Norwich? Where was this against Leicester City? Where was this all season long? I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. I think I wanted to talk about it on the Patreon pod. It kind of escaped my mind, but it's like they left us. We're talking about the April results. We shouldn't even have been in it, and we were still in it, and we dropped so many chances to like even finish the top 4. And even today, you're like, Jesus Christ, we should be finishing 4th place because that Arsenal team and that Spurs team ahead of us are not that good, and they're not going to get that much better next year. So that 4th spot should be there for us, but we got to get our shit together.
New manager's going to give us cover. Little match reaction here. Cristiano Ronaldo scored 9 of Manchester United's last 11 Premier League goals, with 8 of them coming at Old Trafford. Unbelievable. And since making his Manchester United debut in February 2020, only Mohamed Salah, 73, and Harry Kane, 65, have been involved in more Premier League goals than Bruno Fernandes, 61. 36 goals and 25 assists. He's level with Son at Tottenham, and that's with a rough season. So, look, Bruno, it's good. Everyone's going to hit the reset button. Ten Hag's coming in. We're going to see how we're going to play. But what do we know? Let's check in with the interim manager, Ralf Rangnick.
Well, we also had some good home games, but a couple of weeks ago, I think tonight we showed probably one of our best performances in the last 6 months in possession of the ball. We had, I think, 73 or 74% possession in the first half, and in total at the end, I think 65. High passing accuracy of 91%, and this was, for me, the reason why we were controlling the game in vast areas of the game. Obviously, it also had to do with the players on the pitch, with 3 creative central midfielders, with Juan Mata, with Bruno, and Nemanja Matic. And whenever we played the ball behind their backline, whenever we increased speed and were not just playing in possession for the sake of being in possession, we had our moments. This is how we scored the first goal. Even the very narrow offside position of Cristiano would have been the second goal. And that's why we were in control of the game in most parts. We still had a few gaps defensively, but in general, I think I was pleased with the performance.
Don't advertise.
Alrighty, we do it live on the podcast, and that was some horrible audio quality, so we apologize. We try to get the pressers right after the game, and it's not always that straightforward. But look, Rangnick talking about the stats. 73% in the first half, 91% pass completion. We did mention the total game stats, full time. Talked about bringing Mata in, the midfield. Look, figuring out a playbook. And this playbook could have been used earlier in the season. That's what I have to say is I did expect a lot more ruthless rotation from Ralf Rangnick coming in. He's here as a consultant. He's here to evaluate the talent. I know the injuries lately have been rough, but when he initially came in, I just don't think he had that next man up, find who can play here mentality, because it's not just Juan Mata, it's Matic as well. It's using Mata and Bruno together and finding balance in the midfield when we're just getting overwhelmed by the press. These types of things, I'm very surprised that we kind of find it this late. And I'm not saying this team is the solution. There are other players, like, for example, Fred was healthy earlier. I just felt like you could have gone through a little more iteration here and found it because we were drowning and we needed to find something.
It is surprising. It makes you almost think that some things were out of his control, but
Maguire,
because that, at the end of the day, it's like we've had more than enough center backs available, and the fact that he never dropped Harry Maguire when Harry Maguire played horribly game after game. But certain players he did drop, like Rashford has been terrible. He's been just as bad as Harry Maguire. He's just played a lot less, and there's been less of an onus on him, but he's been just as bad. He has been as bad as he's been for this club. But he's got to drop, so it's like very strange which players make the cut. But obviously he never really featured Mata and Matic until Fred was unavailable. Pogba, see ya. So it is a strange one. I would have liked to see more of a mix-up earlier.
Pogba was playing bad, and he kept playing him. And this is kind of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer problem too. I felt like Rangnick did switch up the formation, but he didn't really have like the boldness to like drop Maguire, give the captain's armband to Ronaldo. Maybe he didn't want to ruffle a lot of feathers because he was only interim. That might have been the advice he got. But at the end of the day, I did feel like if you fire a manager and you bring someone in new, it is literally a clean slate for everyone, and he should be looking for players, whether in any situation. I felt like getting rid of Donny in January after Rangnick came in made no sense. Like Donny could have obviously, I don't think he's really excelled at Everton.
Nope.
We're going to see him probably do well under Ten Hag, but just trying to find players and mixing it up because the old manager was stale. I felt like it was kind of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plus a little bit because he kind of went off of, maybe it was Fletcher. I don't know. It just it was too rigid for me. Should have been a little more fluid on the rotation. Looking at the table, United were in 6th, 58 points with 36 games played. West Ham 35 with 52. So again, they win their game in hand. They're at 55. Wolves with 34, 49. They win their 2 games in hand. They're at 55. So at the end of the day, 6th place, looking pretty comfortable for Manchester United at the moment. That is Europa League. Hans and Franz, we're back, baby. Tottenham in 5th, Arsenal in 4th, Chelsea, Scouse Bastard, Shitty, 1 point off each other. 4 games to go for Shitty and the Scouse Bastards. We only have 2 games to go because of the Chelsea match being brought forward. Brighton and Crystal Palace away. So we are odds-on favorite to make Europa League. How are you feeling about that, Alex?
I'm pumped. I love Thursday Night Football. We were talking about this on the Patreon pod. Thursday night isn't the greatest logistics-wise. I like Tuesday, Wednesday football when you get Champions League. The teams you play aren't as good. But like we talked about it, I think we're going to show up.
I didn't ask in comparison to the Champions League.
You asked how I'm feeling. You asked how I'm feeling. Everything's in comparison to what the status quo is. The status quo for this club is Champions League football. But that being said, I think we're going to show up on September 1 or whenever the transfer window closes with a big bloated squad like we showed up to this season. So I think he's going to have plenty of players because at the end of the day, we're going to have players that are we're not going to be able to move. We're not going to be able to move the Bailly's and AWBs and Maguires and Martials and Pereiras and et cetera. So there's going to be a certain amount of glut that is there that you could use in more competitions and more opportunities to kind of like bleed the team out because he likes to work a lot. Eric Ten Hag, if you've read about like how he likes to do things, like he likes to make his players like run a lot. So they're going to get a lot of opportunities to run on Thursday nights.
Hey, Hans and Franz, they're going to be back next season. I'm a fan. I like the beat drop. It takes a while to build to it, but it's not horrible.
It's horrible.
You got a new manager. There's going to be a lot of youngsters coming back. Jimmy Gardner is going to be coming back. I hope Twanzebe comes back. Ahmad as well. You're going to need, Ten Hag is going to need a competition to see the youngsters and where they're at. I think that is probably the best avenue. I don't think we should be taking this seriously. I do think we should be playing the kids. And there I kind of see an angle. The main problem is the travel. That is a lot of travel to do, but this is just the way football is going. You have Conference League now. You got to finish 8th to be out of Europe. That's insane. Think of that. Like you have to be 8th to not get European football. So to a certain extent, this is the future, no matter how you like it. So you're either going to be playing in Kazakhstan or you're going to be playing in Madrid. So you better get good enough so you can play in Madrid. We got a next match. It is Brighton and Hove Albion at the Amex. Great stadium. We've been there. Alex, I think He ate so many meat pies, they ran out.
Every time we
Saturday.
tell a story, the pies, I think it's 6 now at this point. It was
at least 3.
It was 2,
It was
and
at
then
least
it was
3.
3, and then it was 5, and then it was 10. It was like a fish story. Keep going.
It was a lot of pies.
It was
It was
100
a lot of
pies.
meat
I ate 100 pies.
So it was a cold, rainy day at the Amex.
They played Stoke. They were playing Stoke. I
They
remember
played
it well.
Stoke, and we were sitting like front row behind the net, getting drenched in rain, eating meat pies, drinking some dark ales. It was it's a great stadium. It is. The South Coast. You love to see it. We're going to be going down there Saturday, May 7th. If you're going to go down there, May is a nice month to do it. It's going to be 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Games 1, Lifetime versus Brighton. The Seagulls, we've won 19, drawn 5, lost 3. We also saw Brighton play against QPR in the championship as they were coming up. That was a great game to go to. Championship fixtures are awesome as well. First time we played them, 1909. We beat them 1-0 in the FA Cup. 5 games, last 5, we've won all. So why are we worried as Brighton smoke them?
We're not a very good side. And this game doesn't really matter much. You know, we're playing for Conference League or Europa League, and I think the teams below us are not in that much of a rush to get into the Europa League either way. But it's United. It's a peach kickoff time, 9:30. 4:30s are done and dusted. And I always liked Brighton. You know, it's a team I like to play. They seem a likable side, so I'm looking forward to going down and smacking them around on the South Coast.
Should be a good game. I'm liking it more given how we are playing and how we'll probably see more of the same from Ralph Rangnick against Brighton. Their form coming into it, they beat Arsenal 2-1. They beat Tottenham 1-0. They lost this shitty by 3 goals. They drew Southampton. They beat Wolves 3-0. Did us a favor for, getting Europa League football. And now we're playing them. So strong form for Brighton coming into this game. And it's going to be a tough one for us. A little history about Brighton and Hove Albion Football Club, simply referred to as Brighton. They obviously play in the city of Brighton and Hove. Great fish and chips, obviously, by the sea. You're going to get some really good ones. Nicknamed the Seagulls, Brighton played their early professional football in the Southern League before being elected to the Football League in 1920. That is fairly late for an English football side. In the 16-17 season, Brighton finished second in the EFL Championship and were thus promoted. That is the season we saw them play against QPR. The Brighton fans were in full voice away at Loftus Road because they knew they were getting promoted. They're situated in East Sussex, Brighton. They find themselves isolated from most other football teams, leaving them without an established local derby. Matches against fellow South Coast outfits, Southampton and Portsmouth, are occasionally labeled as local derbies, but most fans of either team don't even consider them to be rivals because they're 60 miles away from the Brighton home stadium and obviously the Amex Stadium. So it's quite a train ride from London down there, about 2 hours, but it's totally worth it. If you're ever there and you can grab a game, Brighton is worth going to. Beautiful new stadium.
And they're, what do they call them? The M40? The rival, actually their main rival is Crystal Palace, who's the other team that we're going to see at the end of this season. Last 2 games of the season, Brighton and Palace, South London. And then
South London's
South
number 1.
Coast. There you go, sir. Number one movie.
The red and blue, sir. That's what they sing at Crystal Palace. Away. Let's go. As far as Brighton, they play the 3-4-2-1. Danny Welbeck, you might remember him. He's the old man. He's what Rashford will be in about 5 years.
How dare you?
Basuma in the midfield. Well, you've seen the movie before. You can shout out Trossard. He's tricky. You want us to sign Basuma. They have Dunk as well. I've always said he's a good center back. I'm not that worried about it, about Brighton.
I also wanted us to sign their new boy, the Ecuadorian Moise Caicedo, who's actually been playing pretty well next to Basuma. So they got a very tidy front office at Brighton. Run a much higher ship than Manchester United, Richard Arnold and co. But we should beat them handily.
They had a great director of football who came out of England with experience, a man who knows what he's doing. And then we had the chance to sign him, and we didn't. And Newcastle got him. So that's how United works. And Murtaugh's now our director of football who has no experience in the game. Injuries piling up. Jadon Sancho still sick. No update there. Wan-Bissaka, he has a knock. He's a late fitness test. Jesse Lingard, same thing. Luke Shaw, no return date. Paul Pogba, having a laugh. Harry Maguire, he is out. That is the injury list for Manchester United. Cavani, Fred coming back in, so Fred will probably be available to start here against Brighton. What is your lineup given those injuries?
Sir, I got Dave saves the net. It looks like it's going to be Delo available. Lindelof, Varane, Telles. I'm going to do Fred, Matic, Bruno, Cavani, Ronaldo. How many players is that list? Sounds like 11. Who do you got?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Dav De Gea in net. I got Telles, Varane, Lindelof, Delo, Matic, McTominay, Mata, Bruno, Longa, Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, you got a team that can play together. They're playing well. They got fighting in them. They just demolished a solid Brentford team. Brentford, Brighton. I mean, at a certain point, I almost said Brighton, Brentford. Like, this podcast is a tongue twister here. You got to stick with it. You absolutely got to stick with it. Booking the bookies. United are favorites, plus 180. The draw, plus 240. Brighton to win. Brighton to win, plus 180. The draw, plus 240. United to win, plus 150.
Tight, though. I mean,
Brighton are in good form.
Yeah, we're shit.
What's your score prediction, given those are the odds?
I think the United train keeps rolling. CR7 with a brace, 2-1. What you got?
You took it out of my mouth. I'm going to say 2-1. I thought exactly the same thing. Ronaldo continues to score. He's on target for 20 goals. It's like gravity. He will get there. Give me the news. Let's get into the news here.
Don't leave, CR. Don't leave.
United in the news. You just said it. We're going to start it off with Ronaldo. Rumors he might leave. There's always going to be numpty rumors about Ronaldo leaving. My question is, why would he leave Manchester United? There's rumors Ten Hag doesn't want him in the squad. There's rumors that he wants away. Obviously, coming to the end of the season, the Papists, they need the clicks to get the monies. Ronaldo gets the clicks every time. It's just how it goes.
The monies! Where's the money, Lebowski? I mean, the fact that he was emotional at the end of the game, the last home game of the season, that was a little bit telling.
That hurt.
That was
hurt.
I thought he was staying, sir, until he did that and started cheering. I mean, he did lose a son like weeks ago. The guy's insane. His mental fortitude is unbelievable. Like, shout out to Ronaldo and everything he's been through, because that's fucking insane to be able to take that level of loss and then be able to go and perform on the pitch to the level he does. Arguably some of the best football he's played this season at United, sir. So
exactly.
That just really shows what kind of man he is and what kind of athlete and pro he is. He's kind of like in a class of his own. I mean, I don't think he gets enough credit sometimes. But that being said, I really do hope he stays, because this team needs as many leaders as possible, and there's not that many, especially when you have Mata and Matic on the way out. Ronaldo has so much to kind of instill and share with the youngsters. You already hear about Alanga, but the same would come with Garancho or Garner if they were get a chance to train under him. They would, I'm sure they would soak it up like a sponge. So CR7, please stay. That's all I say. Please stay.
I think he's made his bed, so to speak. Obviously, I'm going to give you the full bias Muppet Ronaldo fan take here. He is getting paid a lot of money. It is a 2-year deal. If it was a 1-year deal, I would say he's gone. 2-year deal, a lot of money. No one's going to pay him that much money. The only team that could pay him that much money would be PSG, but I don't necessarily think Ronaldo is the missing piece for PSG, although they could be. He probably will go to either Portugal or the MLS after United.
Portugal.
To finish his career, right? He could go back to Sporting, right? Have a run there, and then go to MLS. I do think he's going to go for these crazy records, just be just all-time undeniable GOAT. He's going for 700 club goals. I believe he's 2 off right now. The records he's setting is unbelievable. So he's got a lot more football in him. I just don't. He's not going to move to shitty. He's not going to move to Chelsea or the Scouse Bastards.
He's not going to put Messi.
There was a Real Madrid return rumor that if Madrid were really hot on him, that probably would that would trump United. And that could be in the works, right? The crying in front of the home fans. I love to think he just loves this club that much, but something about it seemed to me like he was saying goodbye. That in my gut, all the paperwork, the contracts, the money says he's not going. but just that perspective. He also said, I'm not finished, and no one's thinking he's finished as a player.
I know he's not finished as a player.
So that means he has to not be finished at United, right?
I mean, the only
Right?
thing is like he's playing like a 27-year-old. He looks like he's doing back heels and back flips, and he's trying to do like bicycle kicks. The guy looks.
He's staying.
Dude, he looks 10 years younger.
He's not going
he's
anywhere.
Playing
He's
so
staying.
well that like a Real Madrid could want. I mean, they would be like, they take him because he's world class, and he's still world class, and he can play at the highest level. And at the end of the day,
Dude, they got Benzema.
he
They don't need Ronaldo.
Yeah, he played next
There's
to
already
him.
an old.
He played next to him.
I don't
He's
think
an ego, so you think he might want to like. He thought he was going to come to United and win some shit. We're not winning nothing. So I do think that might have been the beginning of the end. And I don't want to see it, man. I'm actually like in your camp now, full Ronaldo Muppet. Like I really want him to stay because I do think it'll be much more enjoyable and it will benefit the players and the team long term. But the tears look like he's gone.
The one thing, the number one reason he would leave is no Champions League.
Yeah,
that's the
exactly.
number one reason. If you told me at the beginning of the season, will Ronaldo be here if we're not in Champions League, I would say no. So that does make sense. He would want, if Real Madrid was saying, hey, come to us, and he could take like not a lot of pay cut, but a little bit of pay cut to play Champions League football, continue and go for another Champions League title, I think he would try to do that.
Yeah.
United not being in Champions League is the biggest indicator he's out the door. Although he looked to like it today. He liked his football, and it was a long clap up. It was not quite the Harry Kane doing the lap around the field before you come back.
That's the best.
But it was like had that clap up cry feel like this is it. And,
Harry Kane boomerang.
Look, anytime Ronaldo is at your club, he's going to be linked elsewhere, and most fans don't want him to go. So that's just the business. We'll keep you posted. It's not the last time we go to talk about it on this podcast.
So you can say what you want about Perez, bro, at Real Madrid, but they run a tight. They're signing good players, bro. Camavinga, like they are putting together a team. So if they were to go for Ronaldo, that wouldn't surprise me. And also, it's always gonna be a Champions League football. Like you said, he signed a 2-year agreement. If we qualify for Champions League football again, I think that's kind of like the caveat.
I think there's an option for another year as well. So, I haven't seen the contract. Ronaldo, please stay. I know you listen to the pod. Next bit of news here. Manchester United interim boss Ralf Rangnick has been appointed as the new Austrian national football team manager. We talked about this one. He did talk in the press conference before Brentford that he detailed his consultancy role and how he's going to look to help recruit and develop star players. Part of that is the recruitment process. Apparently, Judge and Woodward were just flashing cash, and there wasn't a lot of depth to the recruiting. Do you want to be here? Why do you want to come to United? What are your goals, etc.? So the entire recruitment process, he's going to consult on and help us sign players. And at the end of the day, he's got a little black book. He knows a bunch of good players. He will work with Ten Hag and recommend them. I just don't think he initially came in to have this role be sort of compartmentalized while he went to coach the Austrian national team. I think it went the way it went. He kind of looked under the hood of the car, so to speak, and his role kind of got pushed into this marginalized consultancy versus him being the director of football or the technical director.
I mean, we talked about this last pod, so I don't want, because we were, they had already broken the news that he was going to the Austrian team. We reacted that, for me, I think this is a madness if you're the CEO of this club to let him kind of leave instead of taking either John Murtaugh's position or Darren Fletcher. What the fuck is Darren Fletcher doing? Letting either of those two numpties, because unfortunately, when you're not qualified and you haven't done it before in any club, even a smaller club, even a Brighton. They haven't even done it at a Brighton. They've never done this job before at all. So they're like basically set up to fail because let's be honest, they're yes men. This is a big disappointment because this makes you think that this is all false dawn. Everything will be the same under the Glazers. They're never really going to want to change because at the end of the day, they don't want to look themselves in the mirror and know that like, hey, to run a club competently, we need to recognize the mistakes we made, which is us, and they're not going to do that. So they're pushing Rangnick out the back door. It's a consultant. I'm going to help with transfers. I'm not going to do shit. You're going to pay me money. I'm going to just say I'm helping. On to the next one, basically.
Yeah, and on that vein, Matt Jughead Judge, as Alex famously coined on the podcast, he's out.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Ten Hag appointment was sort of the moment. Rumors are he was still negotiating for Poch. Like Ed Woodward, like, yes, boss, I got you. I'm going to do it. And then, like, they went Ten Hag, and it's like, sorry, man, this kind of way of doing things is gone. And then since Judge is out, there's been smoke. Okay, Woodward and Judge, they were the ones extending these contracts, like Phil Jones, etc. They thought that was the way to run the football club, obviously. So now the playbook that we've discussed on the podcast, and maybe Arnold's listening to us now, because we said you fire guys, then you say, they were the problem, and then gives you cover. It's like
Business 101.
Sports franchise ownership 101. Well, that guy sucked, huh? Well, we're going to hire some new good guys, and here they are, and boy, aren't they awesome, and then they fail. You fire them and say, well, that didn't go. Like, the Giants, you fire the coach. You fire the coach and the GM, then you fire the coach, then the coach and the GM, and
around we go.
And then you're terrible for 15 years, but or 10 years or whatever. But you're we're trying to find the right guy. We haven't found him yet. And
Draft picks.
You just blame them. And so now you're starting to get this whole thing. And it's so annoying because they just a little smoke from United, and then it's like evolution, not revolution. And then people are tweeting, "Wow, Murtaugh and Fletcher are running this clear out, they got this master plan. They're getting rid of everyone who's the problem, yada yada yada." And Richard Arnold, let's start. The narrative is starting to That's how the echo chamber of Muppets on Twitter is for Manchester United.
But that's how Woodward did it too, dude. They built up this deal's done. Remember that stupid meme of him fucking pointing the finger like he was doing mega deals when he signed Pogba, like he was some kind of heir apparent to but
there's this narrative building about how this clear out's happening and this
I know.
And this
taking
is
credit.
So exactly, right? So here's the deal. John Murtaugh, zero experience, zero track record. Look, probably a nice guy, worked with David Moyes as a trainer, and he worked in the academy. Now, the only thing that we know about John Murtaugh is that when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came from Molde, he said, you got to sign Holland, and he absolutely bottled it.
$2 million.
And then
£2 million, bro.
For nothing. So the only thing we know about him is he literally just fumbled arguably the greatest footballer of the next decade, who's going to be playing in powder blue, dragging his nuts on our face, Old Trafford, for the next 10 years. And you can thank our director of football for that. So as far as I'm concerned, he owes us one. Now, if he fires Jughead Judge, great, but that's no signing Erling Haaland for $2 million. So as far as I'm concerned, he's got a lot to prove. Now, you're getting rid of all these guys, great. Fletcher, he's yelling on the touchline to the point where Rangnick has to say, what's this guy doing? In the press conference, he has no idea what Fletcher's doing.
That was amazing.
So these guys have to prove to us this summer that they got it, right? So this is a big summer. Now, if Murtaugh starts pulling out these names, works with Rangnick, gets these deals done, makes great signings, turns around the club, great. But you need to build a track record. So for me, you gotta prove it. All this smoke on social media, I don't care. I just know that you don't have a CV. You've never done it before. We talked about the Brighton technical director who went from England to Brighton, and then now he's at Newcastle. And he has a 15, 20-year track record behind running football clubs. Those are the people we need. Richard Arnold doesn't have that. Nope. He was Ed Woodward's number 2, running this club into the ground. And then, by the way, Murtaugh doesn't have that CV as director of football. So Paul Mitchell might be able to come and make moves. But for me, you got to prove it. You got to prove it. This summer's big. Next summer will be huge. I'm not buying none of this.
We know better, sir. It's Glazers out all day, and at the end of the day, Richard Arnold was buddies with Ed Woodward and Matt Judge at University of Bristol. That's how they all know each other. They worked at PwC. Murtaugh didn't, but Richard Arnold did, as did Ed Woodward, as did Matt Judge. These guys are all former accountants / investment bankers. Sir, they're not qualified to do the job. So like you said, prove it. Show me the money, bro. Show me some astute signings. Show me the $8 million signings for the next Mane, bro. Let's see it. And until you do that, all I can think about is how you mixed up time zones and bottle there. Erling Haaland, who, like you said, that Viking pose is going to get pretty old in Manchester.
Yeah, and I have to make the parallel to the New York Giants, another horrid franchise. But it's like we hired the assistant GM to the Buffalo Bills who are doing great, right? Murtaugh wasn't even an assistant director of football to somebody who did well. You know what I'm saying? That would be like
He was a yes
enough
man.
of a, like, even for me, I'm kind of like skeptical about, like, you're the assistant, you weren't the guy. But like if Murtaugh was like the assistant to to the director of football at Barcelona or something,
Someone
like I'd be
legit.
like, okay, well, he's an assistant, maybe you could do it. Like there's some rationale behind the background to do it. Like Murtaugh's just like, who?
Like Darren
what?
Fletcher didn't even go to like an MK Dons and did it. He just like, hey,
That's
he
my
just showed
point.
up and said, hey, I'll be the technical director. I'll polish this turd for you and tell everybody it's gold.
But getting back to this story, Jughead Judge is gone, and let's hope that's the end of the era. Now, if Murtaugh starts lobbing bids for Declan Rice, we know where we're at. You know what I'm
Or
saying?
giving
So
Pogba a new contract, like is rumored.
the easy part is getting rid of these guys and saying it was their fault. The hard part is now getting it right. And so let's see what we do. Speaking of Paul Pogba, rumor out there, there's smoke out there. Looking at a lot of clubs, and oh, by the way, the most money he could get paid is at Manchester United. I don't know why that offer's still on the table if Murtaugh is having a little revolution here. But apparently, if he wants money, Manchester United is the place. Otherwise, he has to take a pay cut as far as the money on the table to go elsewhere. We're talking Real Madrid, PSG, I'm sure Barcelona, some other clubs are involved as well. But, the curveball this week, Mino Raiola passed away. Obviously, tragic news. He is a figurehead in global football. I don't think he has lots of friends. I don't think he is a friend of the American Red Devils podcast, but anytime anyone passes away like this, it is tragedy. Age of 54, didn't look like the healthiest guy.
Sorry.
I have to just say, like, he didn't look like the healthiest guy, but he was like a super agent to the point where he absolutely blew up the global football market and turned it on its head, robbed United of tons of money. He changed the game to the point where they need to make laws and rules against how good he was. I have to say, if I was a footballer, he'd probably be my agent because he's just ruthless. He's a killer. Obviously, as a club negotiating with him, we didn't like Raiola, but he was so good that they literally are like 5-10 years behind making laws against everything he did, like the agent fees, etc.
I mean, you look at Erling Haaland's contract alone and what he did, like the vis-a-vis going to Dortmund and then positioning for the next contract and like the amount of control he has over that. Like you said, at the end of the day, somebody lost a dad or a brother or a sibling. So, condolences go out there. I don't think he had a lot of friends outside of his own clients. And maybe that just speaks to how good he was at his job. But there wasn't a lot of hearts and prayers after the passing, other than a couple people.
No, he
but maybe
pushed
it's because he was so
line.
effective.
He pushed the
He
line
was.
for, like, you have to look at it for what it is. He pushed for player power. He pushed for player power to such an extent that Paul Pogba was like literally eye to eye with Ed Woodward at Manchester United. He probably helped Mourinho get fired. He helped these guys get insane deals. They had insane power, and then they could say whatever they want. All the norms were busted. I didn't like that, but he was the one who sort of drew the line. And this whole revolution of running your deal down, negotiating these crazy deals with release clauses so you can get bought out for big money, he is the tip of the spear there. So look, I didn't like dealing with him as an agent, but he created this new era of player power in global football, and I think they need regulations to get around it because it's getting a little crazy with agent fees and et cetera. They need to put a cap on that. There's a bunch of other rules that have been proposed, and they should probably be called the Mino Raiola rules because he's like, this guy made so much money. And this is going to blow up this summer. Haaland, Pogba, they're all moving. And
makes Richard Arnold's job a little easier.
Apparently the story is his nephew, his son Mario and nephew Vincenzo are going to be running the deals. And who knows if Pogba leaves or goes somewhere else or how this is going to shape out. But I imagine there is some uncertainty as far as the Haaland deal now with Mino out.
Deal's already done. But the real thing that's
sign
swirling, no, it's done. The real thing I saw, apparently Zlatan is in the mix to be kind of the new front man for his whole crew. And that actually makes sense because he's got enough bravado and arrogance to kind of pull off that role. So we will see, sir. We will see.
Absolutely love it. Jumping into fan questions here at Grifter10. Quote, been waiting all year for United to play like this. been banging on the table for Ralph to play the youngsters, but it turns out they needed to play the over 30 club. Laughing emoji. At nmaybaugh13, I, like many, have been very negative this season, but you know what? Today I'm going to be happy. Some great goals, a clean sheet. Mata and Matic, both class in their last games at Old Trafford in a season of frustration. This was a nice reprieve.
Maja, big Sunderland guy. I know you're thinking about Sunderland.
Josh Maja,
You're thinking about that Sunderland final.
Let's go.
But I hate to say, I came down from my office glowing, like excited. Like I haven't felt that way after a game in so long. It was just nice to have a solid performance, good result, good win, 3 points, clean sheet. I get used to
It
that.
was the Ronaldo magic.
It was.
It was the Ronaldo magic.
Yeah, it's fleeting, bro. There he goes up the door. Oh, see ya.
No,
Come back.
don't.
I know.
Don't. He's going to break our hearts. At golfpro_x2. Quote, season has been poor, like really poor, but glad in our last home game the lads could show up and give us a show. 2 games left and we can finally forget about this season. I think it's a great way to sum it up. It has been a hell of a season, and if you like the America Red Devils, we are for fans by fans. Please support the podcast. We do not have any sponsors or anything. We are only run by fan support. If you write a review, that goes a long way. If you like any of our social media posts, it goes a long way. Support us on Patreon if you want to go the extra mile. www.patreon.com/AmericaRedDevils. You buy some merchandise on our website, www.americareddevils.com. That helps us directly. You guys are the real MVPs. Sir, give them the top cities last 7 days for downloads. What do you got here?
Let's do it. All right,
You
here
got
we
to
go.
pull it up. We're doing it live here. Oh, Fort Collins, Colorado, number 1. What do you
Have
say?
a beer, bro. Have a beer. Number 1, how you doing? Fort Collins, Colorado, Charlotte, North Carolina, Bodo, Norway, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Queens, New York, Reykjavik, Iceland, San Antone, Texas, Buffalo, New York, an eclectic mix. I like it. Bangkok, Thailand, and last but not least, Philadelphia, PA. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We could not do it without you, sir. And I had like a feeling that I had an itch that needed to be scratched. So that's why this song is pulled up, because you know what? Sometimes you need to hear from the king.
The king. Let's see it. Enjoy your week, everyone. We will catch you on the flip side. Brighton, it goes down at the Amex. Here we go.